right, fixing Nigeria's election require more than just better logistics or tighter security on election day. It demands a hard look within many of the challenges to electoral integrity are said to be rooted in the internal dynamics of Nigeria's political system. Despite reforms and new technologies, issues like vote buying remain alarmingly common as the public call for change. The real test lies in whether our institutions can reform themselves from the inside out. How do we begin to dismantle these internal obstacles? What role can insiders, the media, and civil society play in restoring credibility to the process? These are some of the big questions we'll be unpacking on the program today. I am Ezenwawago. Welcome to NTA News 24 Electoral Reform Half Hour. This program is brought to you by Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa, PACA, with support from MacArthur Foundation. Our guest tonight is Augustine Agwen-Suremi. He is the founder and executive director of Primog Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, Abuja, and Primog Foundation, Regina, Canada. He is a development associate, good governance advocate, broadcast journalist, editor, TV and radio host, and PR media consultant. Austin, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, and so glad to be here with you today on this program.
It's very interesting having to pull you out. I like I said off air, I didn't know whether you were here or you were in Canada.
Yeah. And
so how has it been for you?
Very nice, very nice. So good to have a feel of what is happening here.
Electoral Reform Half Hour has been on for, close to a year now, and it's our place to do what we know how to do best, which is electoral reform issues. And I know that coming from your very, very wide experience in the media and now in civil society, I don't think that any guest can be any better.
Thank you for the honor
today. So from your experience in both media and civil society, what are the most critical internal challenges within Nigeria's electoral system that hinder free, fair elections? How can these be addressed?
Now, when you talk about elections in Nigeria, it's a whole big package. Like you said, unwrapping it means taking a holistic look at the total package of what elections. Where it is not just about campaigns by political parties or selection of candidates. It is not just about going to vote. It goes beyond all this to getting the result out and getting people with the mandate of the electorate coming up to be the ones that has elected under our democratic system to hold governance. The challenges also flow from one stage to the other. But like you said, we want to narrow down to which was the most, I would say, traumatic. The one that we know if they are removed, we can begin to look at some others. Now, it is difficult to pinpoint exactly the cover.
Yeah.
But what runs through all of it is what we can see as corruption. It runs through all this process, whether it is the process of getting the candidate, whether it is the process of
internal party
democracy within the party, whether you are talking about godfatherism or the big people with deep pockets getting the candidate, which is actually the unfortunate aspect of our democratic system, the one we run here, the one they run in the US, that the electorate at home only deal with the choices made by the political party. So if the political parties, like what was going to happen during the five fingers of Abacha,
yes.
If all the political parties say this is the man we want, the electorate at home don't have the choice. Now, from the selection to the voting itself, there's corruption that runs through all of it, and we are so familiar with what the challenges of the Independent National Electoral Commission, the way they have also tried to manage to overcome some of the challenges. The problems the Independent National Electoral Commission had in 1999 they are not the same problems
what they are
now.
confronting today.
They are not. There are traditional election challenges that have gone, snatching of ballot papers, carrying the ballot box, and a whole lot. If you like, go and carry the ballot box now.
It makes no meaning.
Makes no meaning. So, but technology has been able to help to minimize it. So the greatest challenge is corruption that runs through all them. But if we want to itemize the others, we have vote buying, which is also an element of corruption. We have violence. Violence is still available. You know, the European Union, you said they said 35 people died during the 2003 elections, but 2023, the European Union said 21, but the media here reported 35. Now, if you have 35 people that die in an election, it is frightening, because it is something that is only local here, because you can't even say it outside that during an election, 4 people died. So violence is still a problem. We have the issue of the political parties that are not structurally organized to have ideology. Of course, you also see that now in the decampment we are seeing. People just move from one party.
It has to do with the fluidity of our party.
So they just look at the way it's favorable. Which means even the party system is a challenge. Then we now come to the Independent National Electoral Commission. The Independent National Electoral Commission, we must commend the steps we have taken since 1999. The electoral reforms, the panels that have been set up over time, telling the National Assembly to do one thing or the other. We have seen what they have tried to do, but the challenge is still there, because some of the problems, like we have seen in courts, because they're actually visible. It is like torchlighted in the judiciary after all the election. You now begin to see that, oh, even the technology we say was going to work didn't work. Then the burden of proof is not on INEC, it's on the person who
I think we because of the time that we have, I would just want to, let's look at how does internal factors perpetuate some of these electoral challenges that you talk about, vote buying, and what are there also external pressures that accentuate them really?
Yes, there are a lot of factors internally, and when we talk about internally now, we are looking at the operatives within the independent,
yes, and the security agents who and then the guys who conduct these elections.
Yeah,
is there a way they incentivize some of the challenges that we talk about?
They actually, it is in their own locality that you actually find and see that the problems really do exist. If you look at let us talk about security now. Let us talk about security, because elections must be secured. The voter must be confident that when he gets to the poll, he is safe. He or her is safe. We must be also be able to protect those electoral officers who are in the field, considering the fact that the volatility of the crisis between the political parties could erode. We saw what happened in Lagos during the elections,
yes,
where some people said, if you are an Igbo man, you cannot vote. And you are going in there, they tell you cannot vote. It will take the man with a gun to drive them away and allow you to vote. So if you look at the insecurity, it is as a result of the idea to perpetuate, idea to do what you feel.
Internal and external pressures.
Yes, both internal and external pressures.
You qualify as a media veteran by all standards. So how does media coverage of elections in Nigeria contribute to either exposing or perpetuating electoral malpractices? What changes are necessary within the Nigerian media institutions to better support electoral integrity?
I think we must commend the media, not because I have been I was at the head of the political operations.
That's why I said you.
So we must commend the effort of the media in covering elections. Some media houses actually do live from polling units. They follow the vote from the polling unit to the collation centers. We must commend the effort that the media is making to let Nigerians know what is happening. But the media can only at best let you know what they can see. If they are buying votes. I remember that I covered an election in Edo State in Uromi, where there were 2 trucks at both ends of the feed, where you go, where voters go to collect money in one of them, and they are given some paper, and then they go and deposit the other paper where they collect money, where they validate the vote they have done. The media have possibly they will reported it, but how much is the report going to really do? Because the burden of proof, before the security people can take the media seriously at that point of location, you have to go to the police station to go and report. Before you come back, the whole thing is over. So the media houses are supposed to do what they are doing, report what they see on the feed, and let the people know, particularly the broadcast media that take it live and they take everybody on, let everybody know, look at the collation center, everybody is at home, and then they are able to follow. That is the beautiful work they are doing. But to the extent that they are not capable of, they don't have the powers to arrest, they don't have the powers to prosecute, they will only just report what you have. So many of the things that we have reported in the past, none were followed up.
So Primog is very strong on the whistleblower relationship in terms of how do you think whistleblowers can help in electoral corruption? And then, more importantly, what practical protection incentives should be put in place to encourage insiders to expose?
It's very, very difficult. Whistleblowing is not a native of Nigeria yet. We are babies in when we talk about whistleblowing, because the central thing about whistleblowing is protection for the person who is blowing the whistle. If you blow whistle, I can give you 5 or so, 2, 3, 4, 5 examples of people who blow whistle and they are in for it. I mean, they are either sacked from their job and they don't have protection. That is why I would suggest that, from your question, that the best thing to do before we begin to get deeper into people having apathy or not even be able to tell anybody what's happening, there should be a law to protect whistleblowers. That process has been on. The government came up with a policy, beautiful policy, but that policy is not a law. We must be able to put it down that if you blow the whistle, you are protected. If that is not there, then it is difficult to.
So, given your advocacy in advocacy for integrity in public service, what are the things that can be implemented within bodies like the Independent National Electoral Commission to, institutionalize accountability and reduce opportunities for corruption?
It's difficult. That's also difficult. You see, corruption, I must say it because so that we don't color it. Corruption is like pervasive in Nigeria. I mean, when you say pervasive, it permeates everywhere.
Is it impossible to raise accountability guardrails?
No, because there are no sanctions against impunity. When people do things and they are not punished for it, it encourages people to do other people to do it or somebody to repeat it again. There are no punishments for.
So what are the laws doing? What do we do?
The laws, we have beautiful laws. We have beautiful laws, but they are not really there. We can go.
There are no consequences.
There are no consequences for some of these actions that we see all over the place. If there are consequences, people would look. There are societies. I'm not advocating for capital punishment here, but what I'm saying is that there are societies where if somebody is found to have done something wrong, the law as it is put on. It's not that we don't have laws. We have laws. Apart from the professor that has been jailed now in the past for the role it played in the past elections. But we have other. In any case, the election that was also held, the offense he committed to rig election for the Senate president.
We don't know whether
that is the constituency.
Yes,
we are talking about the constituency. Those who came from the constituency. There are people who benefited from the corruption that he did.
You're raising the flag for law and order society. That perhaps is a
no. We don't have consequences for infractions here.
So we'll go on a break now. Electoral Reform Hour continues shortly. Stay with us. Back, we are still, speaking with Austin Agbonsoremi, Executive Director of Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, Primark. And I would come back to the fact that you were one of the most strident voices for internal party democracy.
Yes.
With the program you anchored for many years, the political platform. What can we do within political parties to strengthen internal party democracy?
I think it's for Nigerians to go beyond the perks of office, because what the average politician look forward to, what the political party look forward to is to what they look forward to is to get to an office and get themselves, some goodies. If you have a political party that has a good ideology, it's rooted in ideology, it is possible for people to buy into it and say this is what we believe in, such that no matter what happens, even if the boat capsizes, they will remain there. But one of the challenges, and I think one of those things that can strengthen political party, is for Nigerians to be interested in political parties. Currently, Nigerians are not interested in political parties.
Or are made not to be interested in.
I don't think they were made not to. It is just because we want the other person to do it. I want you to do it. I don't want to do it. I just say, just leave them. Because if we do not join the political parties, and we will expect the political parties to fund itself, for one big man to bring money, and then they will do the right thing, then we are wasting our time. The Nigerians must be interested in joining political parties and take part in the internal workings of the party.
For instance, in your place now, it's possible that your party card is in the hand of somebody and you are not a member of that party. They buy up these cards, so you can't, even if you want the cards, you don't have access to it, except you go to that person and the person now says, okay, we can.
That's what we are talking about. How if they were many enough, how many are they going to buy? For instance, how many people, even the APC we are talking about now that is running the federal government, we had PDP that ran for a very long years. Now, how many people are actually financial members of APC?
Do they have a nominal role in the form?
Say that so what happens is that when we are talking of choosing delegates, it is the old thing Baba said, our leader have said, this is what we want. If we come to a point where you have, say, a political party has 15 million members, 10 million members, and they are going to do a congress that everybody's vote will count, all these things will fizzle out.
Yes, but they brag that they have these numbers. It is only during elections that you find out that because they say they have 60 million members.
Of course, suddenly
you have less than 21 million people voting throughout the whole.
Yeah, apart from that, you just raised an issue, and that is the apathy that we see, whether at the level of political party or at the general elections, where you have, the last time we have 94 million people that were said to have registered. About 74 or so picked their voters card. At the end of the day, we had 29 that voted. Such that it is such a shame that the president of Nigeria, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the people that voted into the president are up to 20 million. I mean, those who voted participated in the election. No, process. They said APC won't have this vote. That this is the vote that they have. The total number of people we had all over for the presidential elections is about 29 million. So what happens to the 70-something million people that were supposed to have voted? So where are they? Do they really exist?
Those are some of the reasons why Electoral Reform Half Hour is on. And then you took a break when you have Primark in Regina in Canada.
Yes.
So there are experiences that you perhaps have gleaned from how they work around issues of corruption. Are there something that you've picked up that can help us reduce, incidences of corruption in our electoral process?
Yes, there are two different environments altogether. Like you said, you mentioned it in the passing then. There are two different environments altogether. There are the Canadian society, the Canadian system does not permit some of the things that are permitted. There's sanction. People know that if they do anything wrong, they will be punished for it. You don't have to beg for it. And some of the things that happen, the people volunteer. During elections, you just fill up a form, you volunteer to go and be a presiding officer. You volunteer your time to go and be a presiding officer.
You are not paid for it.
No, you are not paid for it. They take you through 1 week of training. This is what to do, this is what to do, online. You don't even need to go anywhere. They take you through some training, and then you volunteer. You go there and do the job. It doesn't matter whether you are white, black, or you are colored. You do it. Now, what do we do here? A political party here, like what we have seen in the cases, PLAC just released the report on from the ballot to the courts. There's hardly a political party in Nigeria, even the APC, that can have agents in all the police stations around the whole of Nigeria. And yet, the judiciary expect that you will bring witnesses from everywhere.
No, the parties had 96%. There are parties that had 96%.
I don't know how correct that is.
No, it is.
That you saw it. It is written. You were in Benin or in Enugu monitoring elections, and they tell you that there is 96%. I don't know the veracity of that. I don't want to believe it. That it is true that they have 96% of all the polling units covered by elections. If in any case, what happened to the other 4%? Even if they have 96%. So what we are saying is that apart from the major political parties that will actually be able to summon up courage to have up to 50, 60 as it is, we are now 96%. The other political parties, some of them are just localized in one local government or in one state, and they are only able to just take that. There's nothing wrong with that, because in societies you have a green party that is just in one county and they take care of it very well. Well, the difference between our society and that society is the enlightenment level and the commitment of citizens to want to see things done right. And then there is punishment for anybody who attempts to derail the process.
Well, we were on a home run now. Just your quick thoughts around first election in one day. People are having that conversation right now, whether we should have all our elections in one day. And there are also conversations about the mode for appointment of INEC chairman. Whether you hold elections one day or you scatter it, it is the same problem we are going to have. The commitment is the same problem. If you like, have all the elections one day. It is more economical to have elections one day, because the costs will drastically be reduced by maybe about 30, 20, 25, 30%. It will go down, because the same people you are using, you have the president's box here, you have the other one box here, you just go there and put all your, and the counting takes place. But we don't want to do that because of the bandwagon effect. So it is the governor helping the president helping the governors, and they try to. So it's a mutually reinforcing.
Yeah, reinforcing. So the idea of a chairman for the Independent National Electoral Commission, the process in the law we have is fine enough. It is not. There's no problem with it. It is just the operationalization
of it. This is where we draw the curtain on this episode of Electoral Reform Half Hour, and we wish to specially thank you, Augustine Agbansuremi, for your time on the program. Thank you so very much for joining us. It was a great pleasure having you. Electoral Reform Half Hour is brought to you by Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa, PACA, with sponsorship from MacArthur Foundation. We are live every Saturday from 8:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. with a repeat broadcast every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. on same station. Thank you for watching. I am Ezenwa Wagu.